The Galactic Academic Council had spent 3 centuries perfecting the Universal Aptitude Assessment. It was designed to be the ultimate test of intelligence, creativity, and problem-solving ability across all known species in the galaxy. The exam had broken the minds of the most brilliant Zephyrian mathematicians, reduced crystalline logic masters to weeping heaps of fractured silicon, and sent entire hive mind collectives into recursive loops that required emergency disconnection. No one had ever scored above 67%. Dr. Velthar adjusted his optical sensors as he watched the lone human enter the testing chamber. Marcus Chen appeared utterly unremarkable. Average height for his species, wearing simple clothing, carrying nothing but a basic neural interface headband. The Altarian proctor had seen thousands of candidates over his career, and this one seemed particularly unprepared. Subject designated human Marcus Chen, Velthar announced to his recording device, beginning Universal Aptitude Assessment at Galactic Standard Time 847.3. Species classification, recently discovered, technologically primitive, classification, pending. The exam began with basic pattern recognition, fractals that existed in 17 dimensions, mathematical sequences that incorporated temporal paradoxes, and logic puzzles that required understanding of quantum superposition states. Most species struggled here for hours. Marcus completed the entire section in 12 minutes. Velthar's tentacles twitched nervously. Perhaps the human had simply guessed randomly. The second section would reveal the truth. It consisted of engineering problems that required candidates to design faster-than-light engines, using only theoretical physics and imagination. Marcus not only solved every problem, but also submitted 3 different engine designs for each scenario, including detailed efficiency calculations and safety protocols. One design made Velthar's advanced mind ache just trying to comprehend its elegance. The third section broke most candidates entirely. It required simultaneous translation of 37 alien languages, while solving multivariable equations that incorporated the philosophical concept of existence itself. The section was designed to be theoretically possible, but practically impossible, meant to test absolute limits. Marcus finished it while humming what his species apparently called a tune. By the 4th section, Velthar had stopped taking notes and started panicking. The creative problem-solving segment asked candidates to devise solutions to hypothetical galactic crises, pandemic plagues, resource wars, dimensional rifts, and extinct star scenarios. Marcus submitted solutions that were so comprehensive and innovative that Velthar immediately transmitted them to the Emergency Council. 3 of the scenarios weren't even hypothetical. They were classified current crises that the galaxy's best minds had been working on for decades. The human had solved them as if they were elementary puzzles. The final section was the cruelest, a psychological evaluation designed to shatter the minds of even the most stable beings. Candidates faced impossible moral dilemmas, paradoxes that questioned the nature of reality, and mental constructs that forced them to confront the infinite nature of existence. Marcus emerged from the neural interface after 20 minutes, stretched his arms, and asked, "Is there water available? I'm a bit thirsty." The scoring algorithm crashed. Velthar manually calculated the results 3 times, each time getting the same impossible answer, 98.7%. The highest score in galactic history. The human had not only passed the impossible exam, he had dominated it so completely that the testing parameters themselves seemed inadequate. Remarkable achievement, human Marcus Chen, Velthar managed to say, his voice modulator crackling with static. You have exceeded all expectations and... Actually, Marcus interrupted, raising his hand politely. I was wondering if you had a harder version. The silence in the chamber was absolute. Velthar's optical sensors dimmed and brightened several times as he processed the statement. I beg your pardon? A harder version, Marcus repeated casually. This was interesting, don't get me wrong, but I was hoping for more of a challenge. My little sister is taking her doctoral qualifying exams next week, and she's always been the smart one in the family. I was kind of hoping to practice on something difficult first. Velthar's tentacles began trembling. This exam has broken the finest minds in the galaxy. Entire civilizations have declared it unsolvable. The ethereal beings of Proxima Prime attempted it collectively and required psychological rehabilitation afterward. Marcus nodded sympathetically. Yeah, that's rough. But see, the thing is, I'm just a high school physics teacher. My students regularly give me much harder problems to solve. Last week, little Jenny Kim asked me to explain why her boyfriend was acting weird, and honestly, that was way more challenging than your dimensional engineering section. The human paused, then added thoughtfully, plus, I'm pretty sure question 47 had an error in it. The quantum flux calculations assumed a standard universal constant, but in a paradox scenario like that, you'd need to account for temporal variance. I adjusted for it in my answer, but you might want to fix that for future test takers. Velthar stared at the human, his advanced mind struggling to comprehend what he was witnessing. This being, this supposedly primitive creature from a backwater planet, had not only conquered the impossible exam, but was critiquing its construction and requesting additional challenges. We don't have a harder version, Velthar whispered. Oh well, Marcus shrugged. Could you make one? I've got some time to kill while I wait for my transport back to Earth. My wife's making lasagna tonight and I promised I'd help grade papers afterward, but I could probably squeeze in another exam if you've got something really tricky. As Velthar watched the human leave, cheerfully whistling that tune again, he realized that the galaxy had been asking the wrong question. It wasn't whether humanity was ready to join the galactic community. The question was whether the galactic community was ready for humanity. He immediately began drafting an emergency memo to the High Council. Recommend immediate diplomatic contact with species human. Also recommend significantly upgrading our definition of impossible. In the distance, Marcus could be heard asking a maintenance droid for directions to the cafeteria, wondering aloud if they had anything that resembled coffee, and mentioning that he'd love to chat with their engineering team about some neat ideas he'd had during the exam. The galaxy would never be the same.